James, what's up, buddy? Let me know if you can hear me. Midwestern Trapper, Jeff, tell me y'all can hear me. Yes, you can hear me? No, you can't hear me. You can hear me. Okay, awesome. I don't know what happened. Something just farted out on my program. Hell, I don't know. I'm not tech savvy. I have to spend 2 hours figuring out how to do something that takes most people 10 minutes to know what they're doing. But anyway, loud and clear. Awesome. So, hell yeah. We had almost 10 viewers on the last one, and man, I dropped the ball somehow. I fucked up, so it is what it is. I'll try and keep the F words down so the kiddos that get in here, I don't bother them. But I'm not a role model, but I hope to be an inspiration. So it is what it is. Anyway, Krusty, what's up, bud? Johnny Boy, Midwest Trapper in the house, Jeff in the house, Tim Brady in the house. He came back. James in the house. And yeah, my nephew was in the house too a little while ago. I wanted to kind of, you know, say what's up. This is the inaugural internet, high quality internet in the Trap Shack that that I'm doing. This is the first, I guess, broadcast we'll do in the Trap Shack. I don't know how many of these will happen during this season, but I plan I'll probably do one or two a week. And I want to talk about stuff that's going on in the world, stuff that's going on that's related to trapping. Stuff that's going on related to trapping regulations and stuff that's going on, just related to trappers. And there's a real good website, and if you guys don't use it, you should. I'll show it to you right here. It's called the Trappers Report. Let me see if I can find it. Browser 2. Is it browser 2? Can you guys see it? Oh, I know what happened. Hold on, let me set it up. Browser 2 is set up. And it should show it. I don't think you guys can see it. I'm not sure why. I guess I've got other problems farting out on me. But there's a website. What's up, Johnny Boy? There's a website that's called Trappers Report, and it's basically the same thing as Drudge Report, but for trappers. And I forget, I don't know the guy's name, but I believe his handle on Trapper Man, the forum, is New York Hunt and Fish. And he's a nice guy. He saw one of my videos in the spring that I put out, and he really liked it a lot. So he said something on the post, and he posted it on the Trappers Report, and then told me that I could go post on the Trappers Report. And I don't know how, but he originally had my logo up there somehow whenever I would post stuff. But I think now that I've changed my IP address because I got new internet, it's gone. So, but there's supposed to be a method here for me to show you the browser. And I'm not sure why it's not showing it, because I wanted to show you the browser. I got a bunch of stuff on here that I wanted to show you guys that had to do with some of the stuff going on right now, some of the anti-trapping regulations, or the antis trying to push regulations in Vermont, which that's kind of already been in the news a little bit. If you read any of the trapping publications, you can kind of see some of that happen. And the antis are really hitting Vermont hard. And I don't know what the trapping regulations are in Vermont right now. I'm down here in Oklahoma, so I don't have a clue. But anytime there's antis attacking trappers, that's something we're going to talk about. And there's a few other articles, and then there's something else I wanted to show you guys, and I really wanted to pull up. There it is, right there. You guys see it now? Now you can see it. Okay, so I don't know what happened and why it farted out like that, but you can see this came out last week. I saw this. This was a report that came out from the Fur Harvesters Auction, FHA, and you can see what they're talking about when it comes to castor prices. Over the past few weeks, we have received several new customers calling and placing orders for castoreum. This is good news, and we are confident that prices on all three grades will improve. So some of the new stuff that's coming out, next year it looks like our caster market's going to be good. So if you guys are trapping beaver and hanging onto your caster, or thinking about selling your caster earlier in the year, or selling your beaver whole, I like to skin my beaver. Um, I like to skin my beaver, and I just sell the skin, and I keep the casters. I don't sell caster. I've never sold a single caster in my life. I got a ton of caster hidden, and I I keep the skulls, and I keep the meat a lot of times, and I just give the carcass to the coyotes. And I think everybody needs to be hanging on to their caster this season if you're going to be, and unless you just don't have the means at all to skin your catch, you need to hang on to your caster and put your caster aside and save it until these big orders start filling up. And when that happens, they're gonna sell off most of their caster at a decent price this coming year at the fur auction, and then after that, caster prices are going to go back up. I don't know how. I don't think they'll go to 90 a pound like they were before, but you'll probably do pretty good. And they're going to have all three grades of caster, and I think that I'm not sure what the different grades of caster are. I think it has to do with dried caster. It has to do with wet caster, caster that hasn't been dried, and then caster that is got oil sacs. Or maybe there's a different grade of dry caster. Hell, I don't know. But the anti comments. What anti comments you been seeing, Johnny boy? Help me out. Help me understand what you're talking about. I don't like antis, and I don't know. I had some people trying to you know troll my last live, which was actually pretty fun because I consider myself a professional troller. I like to troll people. I like to give them a hard time, especially whenever they can't take it. But I don't like to be an asshole for nothing. I'm always asshole for good reason. You know what, James? I have never eaten beaver and I've never eaten bobcat, and I'm doing both this year. I'm gonna make videos. Catch, clean, cook. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make videos. I've never done it, so since it's first time, I'm gonna do it. But I'm not cooking it. I'm gonna leave it up to my wife to cook it. I'm just gonna eat it. Yeah, sell the fur and the skulls. That's a good idea. I've got a skull market that I've got to get into. I'm thinking about getting some beetles. I got a bunch of crap on my plate right now, but this is my last day off. Today's my last day off for the next 120, 130 days till the first sales are over. So I won't get another day off again. Oh, you're back. I'm glad you're back. I had to get some more. I had to fix it somehow. I messed up the audio somehow. I messed up the audio. Let me see here. Yeah, Jesse, I saw that video. Your son responded to the post that I made on one of his videos. James says beaver's awesome. I never tried bobcat. Yeah, I'm gonna do both. I'm doing it. I'm never gonna eat coon unless it's Great Depression times and we're starving to death. But I think you could smoke a coon pretty good. I've heard a lot of people tell you good recipes on coons. A lot of people, Louisiana, Kentucky, Alabama, a lot of those folks eat coon. And some places sell coon for meat. And you can't do that here. In Oklahoma, you can only sell coyotes and beaver. Um, and you can sell your fur, but you can't sell bobcat meat, or you can't sell, I can sell the skulls from the bobcat, but if I sell the meat, it's going to be to somebody not that's eating it. And you don't sell coyote meat. Hell, I wouldn't eat coyote to save my life. I used to watch that guy. Hell, I forget his name. Pathfinder, the guy from the Pathfinder. He has a Pathfinder school and the Pathfinder Institute and the Pathfinder YouTube channel. Anyway, I used to watch him a long time ago when I got into bushcraft 10, 12 years ago. And he caught a coyote and he ate that damn thing. And I couldn't believe it. That's disgusting. Johnny says he's seen several comments on different guys' pages, a lot of trapping channels. Yeah, we're going to get attacked. We just need to make sure we don't self-censor, that we represent trapping, accordingly, that we're not, being jackasses, and that what we do is, we show people what it is that we do. Like if you watch James's videos, you'll see James will show you everything that happens, whether it's good or bad. He's just showing you his vlog of what he has to do. He says he's not trying to teach you one way or the other. He's just trying to show you what he does. And that's an honest take for a trapper, just exposing trapping to the world. And that's a good way for people that have YouTubes and can use YouTube to be able to get that out there and to be able to just show the world what trapping's about. You don't have to be some cocky know-it-all that's got to have a school to tell everybody what's going on and come up here and tell everybody that your set's the only set that catches and you never lose a coyote. We get a lot of prideful, arrogant assholes in anything, and it's it'd be smart for us not to be that way. For us to just kind of show people what's going on, be nice to folks, and then whenever trolls come in, just you know troll them harder. I love to troll trolls. I'm the anti-troll troll. All right, Midwest Trapper, thanks for coming in, bud. Johnny says beaver's dandy. Jeff says I use all my castor and sack oil. Yep. See, I haven't ever sold any castor or sack oil. I've got it all. I accidentally I emptied, I don't know, 40 sacks last season or earlier in the year. And what I did is I put them all on a little cutting board that I had in the freezer, but I emptied the sacks and I got this huge jar of sack oil. That's great. And it's got to be 5, 6 ounces of sack oil. And I left them in there and I forgot about them. So they got freezer burned. Well, they got freezer burned and they turned into this real spongy type thing. And it's excellent lure ingredient. That freezer burned sack oil, perfect. Uh, Johnny says, I watched Nick Biggs cook coyote and eat it on his channel. Oh, man. Did he like it? Biggs time trapping, is that what it is? I've seen he's got some videos that have skyrocketed, some really quality videos. James says I've been doing well with my skulls. Uh, yeah, and I mean arrogance is one thing, and guys are arrogant, and that happens. And I'm the type of guy I don't think we should be selling our trapping information. And I've said this before. I know that guys 20, 30, 40 years ago, and even 10, 15 years ago, YouTube wasn't something a lot of the older trappers were into. Getting a guy to follow you around with a video camera and make a video to show other people how to do it, that's important. But when you make VHS cassettes or make DVDs, it costs them money to produce it. So then they have to sell it. And I get why they had to sell those. And you can buy old DVDs, CDs that Trapper or cassette tapes that trappers made. Some of my favorite trappers made tapes, and I own some of them. So I'm not necessarily against buying them. But in today's world, we have YouTube and all the youngsters and the people that need to be exposed to what trapping really is and understand how important it really is for conservation. And, we need people to see animals with mange. We need people to see animals with really bad skin disease because they, they just think that you're hurting some sweet little personified animal that, is cuddly and wants to play with them. But the truth is those coyotes will rip their face off. So they just don't know any better. And they need to know. And in order for people like you, James, or like me, or other people on here on YouTube that make channels of trapping, it's important that we show them everything that happens that we can. I'm not saying you need to show them all your non-target catches or, you need to show them what happens whenever you catch a domestic in a trap. But, and I think, James, you even had a domestic in a trap recently and you said it. You said, this is domestic, I'm going to go take care of it. Then you cut the video off, went and took care of it and started up on your next set. And that thing happens and people should know it happens, but we're doing a service by catching coyotes and catching bobcats and coons, and we're doing a service not only to the animal for conservation, but we're also doing a service to the people around that are losing animals to them. We're doing service to all the game animals and to the livestock, and hell, we're doing a service to ourselves. So we should just enjoy it. We shouldn't self-censor ourselves. We shouldn't let the antis bother us. They can get fucked. And I mean, I'm not gonna be nice about it. I'm a nice enough guy. I'll be respectable and kind, and I know when to treat people with respect, but I also know when to punch somebody in the throat. Not that I need to do that. Hopefully I never have to fight anybody ever again, but it is what it is. Check out Jordan's Harvest. I've seen him eat some interesting stuff like skunk, huh? Jordan's Harvest. Yeah, y'all check that out. I don't have any moderators in here. Um, I'm gonna make James a moderator. I think it's, and I had other. I have another moderator too, but they're just not watching right now. But we got 10 people watching. I see one, two, three, uh, four people talking. So you other five, six people in there, if you guys got something to say, just punch buttons and say stuff. Yeah, and I mean, you're gonna catch dogs, and it happens. You're not gonna. I mean, especially if you're running, a bunch of traps, you're gonna catch dogs. If you're just running a few, you're not gonna catch too many. I got people around here that are kind of worried about it. I'm trying to help educate some of the local people here, little by little, showing them my videos, talking to them, answering the questions. You know, jumping through the little hoops I have to try and get permission. I just picked up. Well, hell, I don't know exactly how much I picked up, but I picked up. I've got a thing here. I've got my OnX pulled up, and I don't plan on showing OnX just because of my location. But and all the information's on there. But I picked up what's that? 120, 160, another 160. So that's 320 plus that's 440, and then what's that? That's another 160. So 600 acres. And then I went to go pick up what's that? That's 350 plus 106. So 450, 530 acres is what I went to pick up today. I went to go meet a guy, pick up the 530 acres, and I already had access on the property, but he was running cattle on the property, so I wanted to make sure that everything was cool with him, and he wanted to meet me face to face, which I understand completely. And he's a nice guy, real nice guy, nice wife, great folks, and he runs cattle now. He's retired, but he runs cattle, and they've got cattle on different places. Well, when I went to go get a key from him because he agreed to go ahead and let me trap, I thought I was just picking up the acreage for the 520 acres that was, kind of right there next to my route that I was going to be running. And sure enough, when I got there, I picked up an extra 600 acres of property that he's leasing, that he has cattle on, that he wants me to trap. So I picked up 1,200 acres today pretty much for almost nothing. Just, I met him once. I talked to him on the phone twice, and, he was a nice, tough guy. He wants some coyotes cleaned up, and I'm going to get it done. So now I think I've got almost 12,000 acres to trap this season. And of course, you can't trap it all at once, but so you're on 20 square miles. I think that's a lot of property, bud. I'm my all the acreage I'm looking at, if I was to look at this map and tell you right now what I got set up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I got it's about 12 by 9 miles right around my house, mainly south of my place, that I've got acreage on. But that one's 36, that one's 600, that one's 1,200, that one's 2 square miles, so it's 1,250. Um, and then I've got the green, there's other spots in there. What's that? That's 1,800 acres, and then that's another 640 plus 320. So I got a ton of acreage. I mean, I am stacked. Yeah, Krusty says my line is 100% public. It's fun, but it's a pain. Now, most of my line has cattle on it, and I don't trap inside cattle. So even though I have all this acreage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play hopscotch with the cattle as they move them around. So a lot of these places around here, there's a couple of really big ranches east of me and one big ranch northwest of me. And I have some acreage up there I could go to. I talked to the son of the guy that owns some property up there, and he wants he wants somebody in there, and it's a little bit outside my range this year. Plus, most of the stuff I picked up south of me, so I'm not really trying to go northwest if I can help it. At least not more than a couple miles, because I'm running everything on the buggy. And Jeff Martin from Coweta, what's up, bud? Did we meet, Jeff? Jeff, are you a buddy of mine? Did we talk? Let me see. I got a buddy named Jeff I talk to that I don't know too well, but we text a lot. Are you my buddy south of Tulsa? I didn't get your last name. I think I have a buddy named Jeff that for a year I've been texting back and forth with him. We didn't meet face to face until 2 weeks ago at the Oklahoma Fur Bears Alliance, and he was there for just a short amount of time. Live more outdoors. What's up, bud? Miss Tina Ladybug, how you doing? Good evening. Okay, so John asked, he says, how many cat and yote traps do you run at once? Yeah, he's got 9,000 acres, so you're definitely spoiled. I've never trapped on an area bigger than 4,000 acres in my trapping, but now I'm going to be almost, 10,000 acres, 11,000 acres. So I'm going to be busy. But John, man, usually I run 40 to 60 traps. And then usually last year when I went into, trapping cats specifically, instead of pulling my coyote traps, I just transitioned them over to cat stuff, cat smells. And all right, it is you, Jeff. Glad to see you, bud. Glad to see you. Um, I Johnny, last year I think I had 80 traps out at once, 78 to 82 traps out at once. That included some snares and some beaver traps. I got about 13 dozen coyote traps, about 4 dozen beaver traps, and I have 5 or 6 dozen traps that are smaller that I kind of use for cats, and then the other 6, 7 dozen that I use pretty much for coyotes predominantly. Um, Thanks, Livermore. I appreciate it, bud. Yeah, I'm probably gonna set. I think I'll have 4 or 5 dozen set within the first week and a half is what I'm gonna run, and I'm gonna keep those going most of the time. And then as we get into mid-December, I'm gonna start transitioning and adding a couple more dozen in for cats specifically. And then once we get into mid-January, I've got properties opening up on me that I'm not gonna get to until February 3rd. Now, this year, ODWC, and I might be able to pull it up. I might have it. The ODWC had changed the times for a lot of the seasons. So the starting of the seasons have pushed back a week, and some of them are a week and a half. And all right, Krusty, thanks for coming in, bud. I appreciate it. A lot of the seasons for Oklahoma, um, James, I'm starting October 31st on coyotes. I probably won't find any coyotes that I can skin until mid-November. So I'm setting on Halloween all day, and then I'm gonna take the girls out Halloween night to a trunk or treat. We don't really celebrate Halloween, but my wife wants me to take them to some church, and we'll do stuff there and they'll pick up some candy and dress up in their little princess costumes or whatever. Um, but I'm setting on the 31st. I hope to have my first coyotes bouncing in traps on the 1st of November. Last year, the coyotes here, James, they went bad in it was the 14th or 15th of December. My shoulder started rubbing, and I only skinned one coyote, maybe 2 coyotes after the 15th of December. So I got 12 or 14 coyote skin last year, and that was it. But I had coyotes. I had 30 coyotes left over from the season before, and I wanted to make sure that I get as many in as I could that were skinned. But I'm also trying to get big numbers on coyotes this year, or big numbers compared to what I've done in the past on coyotes this year for the business. I'm trying to grow the business. I want the people around here to know what I'm doing. And I've been here since 2020, and then I had to take almost 18 months off so I could go welding for a government contract, and that got in the way. I didn't get to trap at all. I barely got to hunt at all. I made really good money, but hell, the way I was living and where I was at, I was spending so much money trying to stay afloat that I didn't really come out of it with anything. I bought some cool shit, but I didn't, I didn't walk away with any cash. Um, so I'm planning on, hoping the 10th or 12th of November, my coyote fur's fully primed and ready to go, and I'm gonna skin as many as I can, and just to do it, just to get them out of the way, just to get it out of my system. I know I'll probably average $8 or $10 a coyote is what I'll if I sell them down here. That's what I'll average, and I'm all right with that because I'm going to keep the skulls. I keep a lot of glands. I keep a lot of different parts of the body for gland material, and you know I'm excited about it. So I can't wait. Jesse says I had a lot with yeah. I only had two or three. One was real bad manged up. One of them had some kind of issue and she chewed off her tail and had some mange spots on the inside of her legs and was recovered, but she looked like there was a problem. And then I had maybe four or five that had some kind of lice, that patch on the back where the lice is eating out the fur. But I didn't really have very many last year. The 18th, I remember it was the 18th coyote because of my show. I said it was one out of 18 coyotes around here probably has mange. The 18th coyote I caught last year had mange. Yeah, James, I saw your videos, bro. Those coyotes you're getting, some of the bellies on those coyotes are beautiful. Down here we get a lot of pink bellies. And it's not as many, but seeing a fully white furred belly like some of the ones I saw you skin, like that female in your first or second check that I saw you skin, that we rarely get a coyote that looks that good. You're gonna have some money coyotes. I mean, and by money coyotes, I mean you're probably gonna get more than 20 for them. I wouldn't say 50, but you said I caught three in my last few checks that were looking good here now, and they're going to get even better. Yeah, they are. But I'll bet your coyotes stay better longer too, because you'll definitely have the under for longer. But I wonder, when do your shoulders start to rub up there in Idaho? Jeff says I caught 15 last year and half had mange. Damn, Jeff, you need to get more traps on the ground, bud. You need to catch 1,500. 2 years, 1,500 coyotes, and then you won't have any with mange for a decade probably. Yeah, the ones I saw that you had, James, all look good. So you're going to average 40 last year, which means you're probably going to do a little better this coming year in mid-January. See, our first slips late December. We almost never make it into January. And last year it was December 14th, 15th. And I was pissed because I only had some my coyote numbers were down last year. But I learned some stuff at the OFBA Fall Rendezvous. And for those of you who've seen any of my shows or seen how I make sets, and I've got new things coming. I learned some stuff that I'm going to really put to the task this first month and a half of trapping, all of November and part of December. I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to use a lot more bait. I'm going to use a lot more, whether dirt holes or mouse holes or something with bait in it. And I'm going to start changing the way I set my traps a little bit. And I'm going to see what happens, because there's a couple of guys that I follow here in Oklahoma. One of them, who shall not be named, um, he's a private guy, but he taught me some stuff that that I've seen the results of with other people using his stuff. And there's another guy that I follow, Ron Nichols, and he's a buddy of mine. I text with him a lot too, and he runs Nichols Nuisance Wildlife Control up in it's not Enid, but it's close to that area. It's north of Watonga. Um, anyway, he does really good. And man, that guy, he's already got 20 coyotes, 18 coyotes. He had 5 days in the ground, 6 days in the ground, and he pulled out because the rain came. He had 18 coyotes in those five check days. Yeah, you are a little colder here. I knew the further up you go, and of course elevation too matters. But down here they prime up later, and then they go out sooner. So we got a much smaller window. And actually, um, I got an email. Some guy, a buddy of ours from the OFBA Facebook group, sent me an email last week of he's trying to make a fur primeness chart. That's so here's the standard graphic. Let me show this to you guys. Browser two. Here's your here's your standard graphic whenever it comes to your species, and that might be a little bit blurry because of how far I went into it. But you can see, once they've got no value, if you look, that's going to be, say, February, January, and March. This is the March line. This is February line. This is the January line. And it shows on here that the coyotes are pretty good into February or up to February, but or that's gray fox right here, coyote, same thing. But that's not the way it is down here in Oklahoma. You're lucky to get into January. You know, you don't really start until mid-November, and then you're lucky to get into January around here. So he kind of made a chart where he kind of changed it up a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see if that's so it doesn't really tell you what the animals are unless you're over here looking at this other side right here. But you're seeing the coyotes right there. What's that, blue? I don't know, I'm colorblind. And it shows right here that the coyotes are going to be good, and that's December after fourth week, and they start to drop January, 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 and then they're nothing at the end of January. So you are going to find some decent coyotes, and I found a few in January in the past, but for the most part, you're not. I mean, they're just shit. So you've got from mid-November to mid to late December, and that's it. And my buddy I was telling you about, Ron Nichols, good guy. He was at the OFBA convention this year, and I finally got to meet him face to face. And he had 100 coyotes, 108 coyotes in December last month alone, or last year alone. And I didn't even, I had 72 coyotes for the whole season. He had 108 coyotes in that 1 month. I think he caught 130 coyotes because he went back in late January, just doing some nuisance work and catching some other stuff, trying to catch some cats too. And he was slaying it. I mean, and he's slaying it this year. And some of the stuff he learned, some of the people he listened to, listen to this other guy that I've been trying to learn as much as I can from. So I'm uh I'm going to change things up throughout November, and you're going to see it in the show next year, but I'll show a little bit in the vlog and stuff like that, but not a whole lot. I don't get into details in the vlog about, how I'm setting. I basically just say I'm setting, say what I'm setting, and I talk about the lure I used. But when it comes to the details of what I'm doing and kind of the locations and what I'm doing, that all goes in the show that'll be out next year. And if I really do have 20 to 25 episodes, it'll come out a lot earlier than it did this year. Jesse said, "Did you get Gary Kistler's demo recorded?" I did. I was using a weird card, Jesse, and it's it recorded it in like 7 or 8 minute segments. So I've got like 30 videos to go through to get his 3 camera demos done. And when he got up, I was out of the room. I was buying stuff because he was the last demo, and I hadn't gone to buy anything yet until that point because I was busy running those cameras. Whenever his demo went on, I went out to go buy stuff in the auditorium, and when that happened, he moved. He got everybody to get up and walk over to where he was at. Well, none of the cameras were watching when that happened. So I've got like the overview from the rear side, and I've got the good mic with but I don't have any view of what it was he was setting while everybody was standing there. So I'm just gonna post it the way it is, and that part of it's gonna sound all right, but it's gonna look kind of funny. I haven't done that one yet, and I still have to do Noah Smith, the president of the OFBA's beaver and bobcat put up demos. And what's unfortunate about that is I don't have a good video of him fleshing the beaver because the main video that I had, I somehow deleted it. I screwed up. I deleted it. So I've got 2 other camera angles, or at least one other camera angle. But Jeff says, by the way, all the seminars you've been putting up out from the rendezvous are great and appreciate that. Yeah, Jeff, I was trying to take the lead. Iowa Trapper and Next Gen Trapper, they're both talking about making a Iowa trapping organization YouTube, and I don't necessarily think I can throw my hand in the hat to make a YouTube for my organization. But what I will do is when I'm at their events, whatever events I'm at, I'll go ahead and vlog the event, record the event, and if there's demos like that from now on, I'm going to try and record every one that I can. I only had one trapper. I was telling you about a guy that I've been listening to lately that's kind of private. He was the one trapper that didn't want his recorded, and his was more of a seminar than a demo. And everybody that was listening learned a lot. And this guy knows a lot of people. He kind of grew up in the trapping community ever since he was young, going to events in the state of Oklahoma and around here. He met a lot of the older trappers and learned a lot of stuff from them. And he's absorbed a lot of information, and he stays pretty private, but he's a hell of a trapper. And he's the only person 20 years in a row in the state of Oklahoma that's tagged out on cats. And last year was my first year to tag out on cats, and I plan to be that second person 20 years from now. That's the only damn person that tags out every year. And I want to get that limit moved up. I want it moved up far enough where I can't tag out. I can just keep going. So I don't know if what you guys are drinking tonight, but I'm drinking scotch. So bottoms up. James says there's a guy up here that averages 600 to 700 coyotes every year running really long snare lines. Yep, that's badass. You have a 3-day check. So I know a guy, you guys probably all know him too. I met him the first year I was trapping, and I've talked to him a couple different times. He's answered a lot of my questions. His name is Liesel Rooswat from Rooswat's Bait and Lure. And I just call him Lee, but he's got the best urine on the planet. That's the urine I use most of the time. I also have some Hoosier urine for coyotes, but Bobcat urine, the only Bobcat urine I use, I either get myself or I buy Lee's. But Lee has a 3-day check in South Dakota where he's originally from, and right now he spent a lot of time in Texas, from what I hear, doing nuisance work. But Lee has a 3-day line, so he'll run like 100 miles one direction for day one, and then he'll camp out that night. And day two, he'll run 100 miles another direction, and day three, he spends the whole time at his house skinning. And then same thing every 3 days. So he basically has no days off, but it's day one direction, day two, the other direction, third day skin. And then he'll just keep doing that every time, all through the season. And he was stacking the coyotes. I don't think he was doing 700 a year, but he's not running snares most time either, even though in South Dakota you can. I think he runs number 3 dirt traps, number 3 dogless bridgers is what he likes, which him and Kendall are buddies, and Kendall's, KO or KO K9 Extremes, they're pretty much the same exact size as the number 3 dogless bridger with the same kind of pan setup, but he's got some other modifications on there that are pretty cool. Jesse says my wife recorded it and we uploaded it, but it's not the best quality. Which one? Are you talking about Voldemort's seminar? See, I missed a part of it. He told me he didn't want me to do it, upload it, so I won't tell on you. But if you got it, I'd like to see it. Oh, you're working. James is on. James has these 40-minute breaks. I guess you're running what 12-hour shifts where you're at, James. So he's got these big breaks where he's every time we go live, the last most nights where we go live and there's some. It's not me, but Iowa Trapper or Next Gen or whoever's live. James jumps in and he's always, yeah, I'm on break. And they're picking on him, telling him he's taking way too long of a break. He's stealing time, but apparently not. He gets real good breaks. See, he put up 57 casts last season. That's good. I I caught 29, had to release 9 of them, and I put up 20. And I sold 20, and half of them went for taxi. And I do good on taxi. I'm not giving away my taxi source, but if anybody in Oklahoma wants to sell me a cat, let me know. Send me pictures. I want pictures and measurements. Yep, only working 14 days a month. Oh, I don't know if that's good or bad. If you make enough money to work 14 days a month to be off, it's great. But if I'm paycheck to paycheck. I work at Walmart. I don't think I'm supposed to say that. I work for the devil. Was I supposed to say that? I work I work for a pretty wild company, and they do really good for us. The position I have, the job I got, and I'm just not big on big corporations. I never wanted to be a corporate guy. I never wanted to work for a big corporation, but it is what it is. Where I'm at, small town, there's not a lot of money. And oh, Gary's, you got Gary's demo, yeah. I got Gary's demo. I got all of it, and it looks good except for that one part where he got everybody up to walk over there. Did you get the video were you recording the way he was making a set when he walked over there? Because if you were, maybe I could get that video from you and splice it into mine and make it work. 88 hours every 2 weeks. Okay, so 44 hours a week, 2, 2, 3, yeah. Cliff Bar. Wow. So what are you just doing warehouse work? And what are you like, are you doing you running a forklift, or are you actually packaging stuff, or are you, shipping and receiving? What do you got going on there? Let's see if I could find I'm gonna show you this fur prominence species chart for a second. So you're in packaging. Yeah, that's cool. I was talking about the trappers report, and if you I don't know if you guys are into news. I'm a big news. I'm a newsie. I'm a news addict. I spend a lot of time uh, watching the news, and I don't mean like the horse shit, you know, news you see on the mainstream TV. I watch alternative news. So you got all of Gary's demo. So if you got it, Jesse, and I don't know how what the orientation of your camera, if it was down on its side or if it was up in portrait. Um, but if there's a way I can get that from you somehow, we might do that because that one spot I got of his demo, it just my video sucks. The audio is great, and I can see where all the people around him, and you can hear him explain it. But it's not going to be the quality that he might like to see, and I'm sure he'd like to see it because he's got a YouTube channel too. And I just noticed this that Gary Kistler's YouTube channel is pretty awesome. Here, I'll pull it up for you guys. Predator Potion, Gary Kistler, right here. So you guys can see here, this is Kistler right here, and that's a video he made when he was at the OFBA event. And I mean, he's using good stuff. He's got some pretty good editing and stuff. He's got some good. Let's see how many videos he's got up. It says 136 videos, 847 subscribers. So his YouTube's. I've got a little more videos than that, but his YouTube's doing way better when it comes to subs. And he's not getting a whole lot of views right now, but he's got a lot of subs. And I think, when it comes to subs and stuff, it just has to do with consistency and content. People want to see, they show you what if you show them what they want to see and you keep showing them cool stuff that they want to see, they're going to keep tuning in and keep watching it. And the YouTube channel can grow real fast. But this is Gary, and I can actually show you a little bit of, this video. The way I have it set up, you should be able to hear it. Oh, wait. I don't think it doesn't want to stream whenever when I'm doing a live. It should because I just got really awesome internet, but the audio output for some reason wasn't even working. I wonder. I actually intended on showing you guys a video. In fact, let me turn that back off so you can see my face and look at my pretty face for a minute. And you can see my camera's gotten wide again. The camera angle. It does that to me. Okay. So I need to fix that. I don't know why that camera angle's gotten so wide. Lens mode, narrow. You're gonna see it flash for a minute and then it's gonna zoom back in. Anyway, I'm just starting to figure this computer stuff out. I've done other stuff in the past. All right, James. I see you got to get going, bud. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, bud. I appreciate it. Jeff says, "See you, James. Good luck on the line." Yep, James has got a hell of a channel, man. Although hopefully he's got more than 666 subs because he made a post the other day. I was doing a live stream, or I was listening to a live stream on Iowa Trapper's channel, and he said he just got 666 subs, and my response was, "Someone go sub to James. It's not sub to him already, or somebody turned their sub off for a minute." But I think he got it figured out. But I wanted to show you guys Gary's channel, and I was hoping I could show you the audio. I don't know if I can. Let's look right here. Huh. I'm going to change the properties on this. What do we got? 6 people in here, so we're kind of dwindling down. But I'm just getting started. So as long as you guys are around, giving me some shit, I'm gonna keep going. I haven't even gotten into the stuff I wanted to show everybody anyway. Audio capture says it's active, monitor off. Okay, so let me fix this audio capture real quick because it really should be set up. Use device. Hmm. Hunting and stuff. What's up, bud? We're just getting fired up a little bit. I don't know how long I've been going on. We're going on 45 minutes now. I had one that I put up a live a little while ago and it kind of messed up. And I had to shut it down. But before I got on here, I had everything set up where my audio worked and where the audio for my capture device worked. My audio output capture too, whatever that is. And something happened. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a new one while we're sitting here. Audio output capture. We're going to call it 3. Okay. And it needs to default. And hit OK. And then let's see if it'll play.
Gonna buy.
Oh, yeah, it did. You guys heard that, didn't you? So I was talking about Trapper's Report, and I'm going to go ahead and show it now while you guys are sitting here. So Trapper's Report is like Drudge Report, but for trappers. And you can see I made this post here. You can make your own post on here. Up here, there's a little spot here that says post. So if you're a trapper, you can go in there and put a post in. If you've maybe never made one before, I think you might have to wait until it gets approved. But after you've been approved for making one, when you go in, it's like 2 minutes and it's up and running. There's a fur harvest database, there's weather tools, and then the Telegram channel if you guys have Telegram. And you can donate to New York Hunting Fish if you want. That's his handle on Trapper Man. I don't know his real name. But anyway, he's got the Trapper's Report, and basically, I don't think it loaded the image here, but it shows that this is a post that I made where I'm just talking about, James Lord's demo. And if you guys haven't seen those demos, some of those demos are really great. And I think it was a really good deal to get that in there. But I can make posts in here. Anybody else can make posts in here too. I kind of forgot about it last 2 weeks because I've been so busy. And there's other stuff I wanted to put in there that I didn't get to put in there. But people put their own posts in here all the time. And you see a lot of this. And this is sad to see. But in the, on this channel or on this website, you see a whole bunch of trapper obituaries. A whole bunch of trapper obituaries. And look at this guy. This is a trapper obituary. Look at this guy. He's a young man. Charles Reeser. Look at that. Husband and father, 34 years old, younger than me. And he died from cancer. That is some horse shit if I've ever seen it. The nope needle, that nope needle from the last couple of years has really, really, really gotten to people, and the cancer exploded. But there's a lot of good information here too, not just a bunch of deaths, even though there are a whole bunch of trapper obituaries. Everywhere you look in here, you see an obit. Yeah, he died from cancer at 34, and you know what happened, don't you? It's that nope needle, that 2020, sickness special nope needle that they gave everybody in 2021. That's killing people all over the place. You're gonna see soon 40% of the people that took that nope needle, they're gonna be done with. I call it a nope needle because YouTube likes to censor everything, and I don't want them to know what I'm saying. So we're trying to pass the algorithm. But yeah, but there's a lot of great stuff in here too. Um, and you can see what's going on with some of the regulations stuff. People post a lot of stuff. All I post in here is videos because I like this is another demo that I did right here, John Heights demo. And of course, I've never done a demo for anybody other than on YouTube. But John Heights, his demo was one that I recorded and put up, and somebody else got a hold of it and put it in here, and because it's a great demo. Let's see if you can hear the sound. That logo's made by Trapper Adrian Romero. That one too.
All right, a little bit about myself.
It doesn't want to load videos too well because I'm streaming. It kind of creates a problem while I'm streaming. I had a moderator, but James had to leave. Yeah, Jeff, see, that's my thing, man. Um, that's why I make videos. That's why I like information being free. If trappers don't innovate and change with the times and start to produce their content in a way where all the kids and the younger folks today can see it readily available at their hands, at their, on their phone. If we don't start doing that, our tradition is going to die. You're going to get what's happening here in Vermont, and I'm going to show that right here. The stuff that's going on in Vermont. You see this Vermont Daily Chronicle. The anti-trapping hunting groups seek last-minute changes and proposed regs. So there's some proposed regs in Vermont, and they're trying to change them. It says this Thursday, a third public hearing on new rules for trapping and coyote hunting will take place. At least 34 speakers will give their take. A proponent of trapping says his opponents want death by 1,000 cuts for the practice. So these are the people we're dealing with. We're dealing with people like this. Now, these people know about trapping, or at least a little bit about trapping, but the people that they get their information out to, they don't know diddly squat about trapping, and they just take this propaganda that comes from the antis, and they believe it to be fact. And I'm even running into that here at home on my line and people I'm trying to get, permissions from, and they think I'm using bear traps that have a 12-inch jaw spread that's going to kill their dog. And they don't understand. It takes us being out there. So, it says in this article, we'll go ahead and finish reading through it. It says Legislative Committee on Administrative Rules, which is tasked with writing up the new rules due to legislation signed into law in 2022, will host, and the current proposals for trapping can be read here. So let's actually open that up. Let's see what the current proposals for trapping are. So it looks like it's just a few pages, but here are the basic proposals. A contracted, well, let's see. That's public comment process, directives. Okay, here are the proposals right here. All footholds on traps on land must have base plates that feature a center chain and swivel. I'm not against that at all. Additional swivels allow mobility. Be anchored with a minimum of 12 inches chain and a maximum of 18 inches length between the base plate and the start of the anchoring system. So if you have an 18-inch super stake chain, which is what I use, you got to have at least 12 inches of chain from there to the trap. It says be padded, offset, laminated. So you're going to be padded, offset, and laminated, or have a minimum jaw thickness of 5/16 of an inch, or fully encapsulate the foot. Have a spread of no more than 6¼ inches. So that's only your 5/50s and down, basically. I think the 6/50s are 6½ inches, but I think they're outside jaw spread. But anyway, and that's inside the jaws, so that's inside jaw spread. And if a foothold trap is triggered by downward pressure, it must be adjustable for pan tension. There's the rationale and why they think that. That's it right there. But there's other laws that they were talking about, and I was already reading about earlier in the week and the month, from the Vermont deal that's going on, and they're trying to remove. They're basically attacking Vermont in the same way the antis attacked. The antis, what is it? The antis attacked New Mexico, and they're trying to remove trapping permission, on public land. They don't want them to be in, any of the right of ways. I kind of wish we had laws more like Iowa does. Iowa trappers got badass laws. I wish I could road trap. That'd be great. Then I really would do coon trapping. Tim says here the wildlife officers get free trapping lessons each year for the young teens. That's cool. We don't do. We don't really have. The only people that have to be trained in Oklahoma to trap are nuisance wildlife control operators, which is what I do to charge for trapping. And you have to have the license in order to charge for it. The training that you get is basically all done on a computer. We don't have trapping classes. The Oklahoma Fur Bearers Alliance, a state organization I'm a part of, they they have they put on 2 classes a year, which are really a camp that it goes on. I think it's 2 nights, so one evening, 2 nights, and then the next morning. So basically 2 full days. And they go camp out at Lake Carl Blackwell or Lake, I forget the other lake, and they set traps. So they set it up with ODWC, and they have somebody come out there and they have a bunch of kids come in from around the state, and they all come to the trapping organization. And many of the folks that are in the trapping organization, they, if they got a line running, they snap their lines off and they go and set up, and they stay there for 2 or 3 nights, feed everybody for 2 or 3 nights, and they split off into groups, and they teach the kids how to trap. They give them free traps, give them, everything you need to set the traps, and they get them started. And I think that's good, but I think a lot of it, I think more kids learn from the internet these days than anything else. And a lot of people, some people need to be hands-on. I needed hands-on whenever I started learning. But I learned most of the stuff that I know, most of the theory that I know and understand actually came from experience, but most of it came from the internet. Um, but the people out there, people out there don't teach this stuff to kids. And my dad didn't teach me to hunt. My dad wasn't a hunter. My dad, he's dead now, God rest his soul, but he wasn't a hunter. He didn't do anything outdoors. I mean, he didn't even fish. But my mom's dad, who, my mom raised me, and my mom's, all of the stuff I know about the outdoors and everything I learned other than trapping came from my grandpa. And he was the biggest drive influence in my life, before I was 20. And I learned to trap on my own just by reading stuff and watching videos. That's how I learned to trap. So I think a lot of kids, even not millennials, even Gen Z or whatever it is, the kids in the generation before me, they're the same way. They're going to learn how to trap, and they're going to do it online. So if we can, if you have the capability to make videos and put it online, you should do it, because everybody should get it out there so everybody knows how widespread it is and can see many different people and how they trap. Johnny Boy says, yeah, they're worried about trapping when they should be worried about the country and what's going on in the world. You know what, Johnny? I'm hyper political, bud, and I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an American. I'm green. I'm not red or blue. I'm conservative on a ton of issues, and I think there are some policies that would be good. Some of the old school Democrat policies would be good, for people. That we should offer mental health assistance, and we should offer programs to help people rehabilitate through stuff. That's something a government should do, I think. But I don't agree with giving people money, free money. I don't agree with giving people a bunch of free stuff so they don't do anything and they're not productive in society. I think we should have more of a conservative mentality when it comes to, not giving a person food, but teaching them to fish. But I don't like our government. I don't like what they've done, and I don't like where they're at. And I haven't liked them for a long time. I'm not a fan of either side of the government at all. Most of them are all playing on the same team is a problem. But yeah, I agree, Johnny. They should be concentrating on our border. They should be concentrating on, not giving out all this money, whether it's for wars in the Middle East or wars in East Europe. It doesn't matter where it's at. They need to take all that stuff, bring all that stuff back home, lock down our border, build this nation up, and let this nation become great again. And those people can take a hike. I don't care. I don't care what Russia and Ukraine do to one another. And I don't care what's going on in the Middle East. That shouldn't affect us, but it does. Jeff says I did Trap and Ed at a Living History Festival and had 600 kids and adults over 3 days. That's crazy. We don't have that kind of interest here. And that's unfortunate. Oklahoma's pretty much all private land. We do have some state-controlled land and some federal-controlled land, and you can trap a little bit on the state-controlled land, and a couple of the federally controlled places you can trap, but the federally controlled places, you can't keep anything. You have to remove the animal, but you can't sell any part of it. So I'm out on that. The feds can take a hike. Hunting stuff says my dad didn't either. Learned quite a bit from my uncle. Yep. My uncles, on my mom's side, both of them are outdoors all the time, hunting all the time, fishing, and I learned a lot from them too. Actually, my uncle Dean, he lives here with us. He's the one who took me to my hunter safety education class when I was a kid, and got me out a lot of the times when I was a kid where my grandpa didn't get me out. It was my uncle Dean doing it. My uncle Duke, he's his brother. I learned a lot from him too. I learned how to skin a deer from Uncle Duke, and I've always been outdoorsy, but when I was young, I ran away from home when I was 14, and I didn't come back till I was 21, and I didn't get back in doing things outdoors till I was about 23. So about 14 to 23 or 24, I should have been in prison or dead at that point. Yeah, politics, it is what it is, hunting stuff. I'm not a fan. I'm more of the, 1776 ride or die type guy. That's what we need. We need a revival of the American Republic, and we need to get rid of whatever the hell's going on in this country today. It needs to go, and it's going to take men like us standing up and doing it. But I don't know when that's going to happen. Right now, I'm just trying to trap because everything's falling apart, and our dollar's falling apart. And one day our dollar's going to die, and when it does, they're going to throw us into World War probably right about the same time. Keep our mind off of it, and we're going to go into some kind of Great Depression for a long time. And I don't know if we're going to completely fall during that time or whether we're going to have a revival and come back to life. But this country needs Jesus, is what they need. Johnny says, "Holy smoke, Jeffs, that's awesome." Yeah, that is awesome. 600 kids, showing them demos, doing stuff like that's a great deal. And there's a lot of folks. You have access to organizations that'll let you get close enough to enough people to really teach them something. You should take advantage of it. I mean, that's why I made those demo videos for the OFBA demo, because I wanted everybody to kind of see what we had going on down here. What kind of folks we got down here doing stuff for us. And it was a good time. We had a great time. And I learned a bunch of new stuff. Like I said, I'm gonna be I'm gonna change the way I do stuff this season, especially when it comes to coyote trapping, especially when it comes to first 2 months, November, December, because our trapping season doesn't start till December 1, but I can trap beaver, coons, and coyotes all year. So I'm setting all November. I'll probably have to release 10 cats, I'll bet. That's all right though. They'll be all right. I'll catch them again. Jeff says, "I was shocked that many came, and actually really tough to get permission to trap around here because everyone has pets." Yeah, everyone here is worried about pets too, and I just tell them, cattle and deer are more important. The turkey and the quail are more important. The conserving the coyotes, the conservation efforts when it comes to coons and coyotes and beaver is more important. The ponds that feed the cattle, that's more important. Um, I had, this guy I just got permission from today. Great guy, and used to be a veterinary here close in town, and he's retired now, but he runs cattle, and it looks like he's running on about 2,400 acres is what he's running cattle on, and I'm only opened up to about, I don't know, 1,200, 18, 12, 1,600 of it, but he's got plenty of cattle, and that's what he does now for a living. And he has a couple guys that work for him. And while I was there, one of them was kind of open to the idea and didn't really have a problem with it, but he was kind of telling me where he lives, so he didn't want me to get too close to his dogs. The other guy was like, he had that look on his face like this, like, "You're a trapper? What are you trapping? Hmm?" And he did that to me the whole time we were talking. He didn't want to shake my hand. I went up and asked him his name, and at first he didn't want to shake my hand, so I just stood there with my hand kind of poking at his chest because I really wanted him to shake my hand and find out what his name was, but he wanted to ridicule me because I'm a trapper. And I don't back down from anybody. So I, he was like, he goes, a lot of people around here are worried about, their dogs whenever you trappers come around, you trappers. And I just told him, I said, well, whenever a dog gets caught in one of my traps on private property, I'm supposed to be there and it ain't. They don't like that at all, but it is what it is. I love my dog. We've got 7 dogs on the property, but I'm not a dog lover. Animal's an animal. You know, the Bible says that you're supposed to show respect to your animals, but you're also supposed to use your animals for your good. And I don't play the whole dogs are more important than people shit. I might kick somebody's ass if they shot my dog, but I wouldn't kill them for it. It wouldn't be worth it. Their life, a person's life, is infinitely more important than the life of a dog. And I can get a new dog, but you kill a person and they can't, they can't come back. You can't get a new person. You can't get that new person back. So I'm not a fan of this whole my dog's more important than other people's lives type crap. I don't agree with that. An animal's an animal. God gave us dominion over the animals, which is why I've got a company named Dominion Predator Control, because It's our job to exercise dominion over the animals and to show respect to the land that God gave us and show respect to the animals that God gave us and to use them for our benefit, for fur, for food, for fun, for fuel, whatever. The animals are there for our sustenance, and we're supposed to use it for that, for money, so we can, continue. That's what we're supposed to do. Thanks, Johnny boy. Those demos, man, were great. I enjoyed them too. I enjoyed making them. I didn't get to see all of them up front, but every one of them I've made, I've got to see in full while I was making it, so that was a good time. Yeah, Jeff, my quail are back. We didn't have too many quail. They say 6, 7 years ago there was no quail here, but in the last 3 years, they've gotten steadily better every year. And now you'll drive down the road and you'll spook up a whole covey of quail right on the side of the road. We got quail here, but I don't quail hunt. I don't bird hunt at all. I don't even turkey hunt. I'd turkey hunt with a crossbow just to have fun, but I don't do it. I don't have any place to hunt around here. We got 10 acres right here, and on it, I put a plot in that's just over a half acre, and I killed 2 deer on it last year, so I'll probably kill a couple deer on it this year too. Easy. There's a lot of erosion. It's funny you say that, Johnny. I was driving. There's a property I have access to that's right close to the property I went and secured this afternoon. And I was looking at it, man, and they don't have any fence rows in there. They tore all the fences out, and hell, if there's not erosion all over where the fences used to be, right there in that area where the water runs off into that spot, there's erosion, ruts that look like they're 10, 18 inches, some of them 20 inches deep. And I know that plays hell on those tractors. So it makes you wonder. But I'm kind of glad the fence is down there because when I'm trapping in there, I don't have to worry about going in and out of the gate. I can just set up back on the other fence line on the side, and that fence that's on the road, it's gone. So, but that's where all the erosion's at, right there on the road. I'm not worried about my buggy because it's so light. I can just get down in there and get around. But those tractors, you get moving through some of that stuff when it's kind of dry outside and you got erosion like that in it, you're going to break an axle. Number one question I got was through trapping was illegal. Oh, oh, they thought trapping was illegal. So while you were there, you're talking to these 600 kids over 3 days, and they're asking you, well, I thought trapping was illegal. See, that's the propaganda. That's why we got to make videos. That's why we got to be on YouTube. That's why we got to have Instagram, and that's why we got to be on Facebook, and that's why we got to record the demos at our trapping organizations. That's why we got to invite people out and teach them stuff because that's exactly what's going on. That propaganda out there, trapping's bad, bastards. Everything here is private, and we have a lot of farmers where I'm at, but I gained so much land this year. I'll have twice as much land next year, I'll bet. Well, Tim, you got to get after it, bud. You know what I really want to do is I want to start getting in and doing nuisance work for guys who have leases here because the more I'm finding out everything where I'm at because I'm in Okmulgee County, so I'm south of Tulsa, but I'm south of Tulsa a pretty good ways. Um, and we got a lot of Texans and a lot of Tulsians. And they all, yeah, I'm in Oklahoma. And they have everything pinned up around here. Everything's leased out. I mean, I can't find a lease to save my life. And I don't want to pay a bunch of money for a lease. I was trying to find a place to hunt for, just to trade trapping for hunting or, hunt just because somebody was going to let me. But there is nothing like that around here. Every damn thing is leased up. And that kind of plays hell on my trapping season too, because a lot of the places, luckily, some of the cattle places I'm trapping, they don't have anybody leasing them because there's not as much wooded areas. But hell, that's going to be great for beaver, coyotes, and bobcats. But some of the real heavy wooded areas, all of them around here, they're all leased up. And I'm going to do really good. I think I'll definitely tag out on cats for sure. I'll bet I release 20 cats this year. So I'll bet I catch 40. Um, but coyotes, I'm hoping to catch 150, and I might do better than that if I work real hard. I'm trying to put my number high. I'm going to say 200 now. I'm going to push for 200. That way, if I get 150, I'm happy. Last year I pushed for 100, only got 72, and I was only on one property. Well, it was multiple properties in one ranch, but I kind of messed up. Johnny says Illinois is way behind on conservation. Kentucky and Missouri make us look very bad. We are many, many years behind. I don't know much about the laws in Kentucky or Missouri. I know in Missouri you don't have to have a nuisance license, and you can charge for trapping without having a license. I know when I was in Missouri, I didn't live there, but I've been there a lot. I like Missouri a lot. I'm real close to Missouri, and from what I understand, the laws in Missouri are really good. I got a buddy that lives there. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years, but I used to talk to him all the time on trapping, man. Tim says, yeah, that's me. All is lease land, and they don't want you to trap until deer season is over. That only gives me about 55 or 60 days to trap it. You got, you're lucky. So deer season here goes till January 15th, but the guys around here, they don't want me to trap until bird season's over. And our laws got pushed back a week and a half, or our seasons got pushed back a week and a half. So even though trapping season starts the same day it used to and ends the same day it used to, the hunting season has been pushed longer. And because of that, I'm uh I'm having to wait till February 3rd to go in for beaver on some of the spots that I plan to get beaver. So I'm pretty the month of February, I'm pretty much just beaver and cat trapping. I'm gonna pull almost every coyote trap at that point. Because I really I'd love to have 50 beaver this year. Because the haddock market's strong. Castor's going to be good next year, and I could use some more meat. Joe, what's up, Joe? It's the first time you said anything. You just tune in. Thanks for tuning in, bud. I appreciate it. He's in Kentucky, so John's in Illinois. Joe's in Kentucky. um, I know where Jesse's at, but Jesse might have left by now. He might not be here. No, I'm not in Osage. I'm out in Okmulgee. I wish I was in Osage. That county's beautiful, man. The Osage is the biggest county. I say this all the time. Osage is the biggest county in the state. And Osage County is so big that every person on the planet could they could sit in their own recliner chair in Osage County. And if the state of Kansas was a TV screen or a movie screen, every person on the planet could sit in their own recliner chair in Osage County and watch the movie screen that's the size of Kansas. That's how big Osage County is. It's huge. Yeah, I'll bet Chicago runs that state. Awesome. Hope you ate good, Joe. I ate good tonight. My wife made me some Mexican food with deer roast. We run out of beef. We got a little bit of beef left. We had a cow. Well, I don't know. We got a half a cow about 4 months ago, and we bought 3 cows in the last 4 years. We're about running out of beef, so I'm eating deer meat now, which is great because it's deer season. So I like deer meat. But we had deer roast, and my wife turned it into tacos, and we had tacos, rice, and beans for dinner. It's great. Okay, so hunting and stuff, we got a thing going on in Oklahoma that's complete and total horse shit. But the 40% of Oklahoma is pinned up with Indian territory or Indian nations. And we had a couple of big laws, big cases go through the Supreme Court in the last 7 years that have changed the landscape of the way Oklahoma is. So Oklahoma used to be the state of Oklahoma with these Indian nations inside of them, and the Indian nations, they didn't tax people or anything, but they got federalized money. They're federalized police, and they own. They have borders, but they don't really own anything other than the stuff that their money that they get in and the money they have from casinos they buy with, and they buy property and stuff like that. One of the biggest ranches not too far from here is owned by the local Muskogee Creek Nation, and we had a couple laws go through, some really serious cases that sent cases up to Supreme Court, and now they've basically revoked the status of the state of Oklahoma and given the status to the Indian nation. So the Indian tribes in the state of Oklahoma have now, Joe lived here from 77 to 88. Nice. Good job. Now the state of Oklahoma is 40% Indian territory, like Indian nations. And they actually control a lot of what goes on in those cities and towns now. And, they're just now trying to get the kinks worked out. And I think there's appeals going to the Supreme Court. But, in Oklahoma, it didn't matter if you were native or whether you were from Oklahoma or whether, it didn't matter if you were a foreigner. The local police in any town and city or county were allowed to deal with you based off of the fact that you're in the jurisdiction of Oklahoma. Well, now that they've done these Supreme Court cases where they've moved in favor of the native tribes, what they've done is they've removed the ability for cops to prosecute native people completely. So in Arkansas, they have a thing called the Curtis Act, and in Oklahoma, they copied the Curtis Act a long time ago and made it law, but they didn't change the words Arkansas that were in it. They literally copy and pasted the Curtis Act and just threw it in as legislation in Oklahoma and passed it. So that got thrown out about 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And before that, we had a Supreme Court case that messed everything up. And now, if say I'm an Oklahoma, I'm an Oklahoman, not a native, and I get into a fight with a native, and a native is beating the fuck out of me, okay? The cop standing there can't do anything about it. I have to stop it myself. But if I attack a native, that cop can arrest me. But the native police can't. And we've got some weird stuff going on in the state of Oklahoma now. So in some states they have reservations where the state police have no jurisdiction on the reservation, and the reservation has its own police that only have jurisdiction there, and they have lines and that, you see some of that in movies and stuff, or if any of you live in places that have reservations, you know what I'm talking about. Here we didn't have reservations, even though the entire state was basically a outlaw nation or a native nation for, till 1907. And now they've actually kind of made these territories that the natives control into reservations. So there's going to be some changes in the state of Oklahoma over the next little while. But I work, what I do is I trap critters. So I trap four-legged critters in the mornings, and I trap two-legged critters at night. And if it's a native critter, I can apprehend them, but the local police can't do anything about it. You have to get a hold of the native police, light horse police. Yeah, Joe, it's cool, man. Oklahoma's great. I love this state. This is the reddest state in the country. This is the only state that's gone red the last 8 years in a row. And by red, I mean every single county. No other state went red every single county. Hell, Illinois is a red state, but the couple of the counties are totally blue, so it makes the whole state blue, even though most of the counties went red. Anyway, he's still here. So we got folks from Kansas, we got folks from Kentucky, folks from Illinois. Wherever you're at, sound off. There's 9 of you watching. I was talking a little bit about this stuff, and I'm going to flip back to it so you guys can see. We were talking about some of the attacks the anti-trappers are doing to the folks in Vermont. And I'm going to pick it up right here where I stopped. It said, trapping in particular elicits strong sentiments from both proponents and opposition. Chris Bradley, president of the Vermont Federation of Sportsmen Club, is on the list, and he spoke with VDC by phone on Monday morning. He suggested the opponents of trapping are chipping away from the practice. And he's right. And that's why I keep talking about making videos. People that are against trapping are chipping away at the process because the old school trappers and the people that have been around a long time, we're not innovating. We're not moving forward with technology. We're not using technology to get our information out there as much as we should. And it's dying out because of that. We have to move forward and innovate with the times in order to keep it relevant. If we don't do that, it's going to cost us. He says, as my opposition would say, their goal is death by 1,000 cuts, and every time they can make a cut or establish a rule that didn't exist previously, they feel that they are winning, he says. Bradley said that he remains confident that the LCAR will focus on the rules to allow for trapping to continue, which the legislative intent of Act 159 passed by lawmakers last year. The fact of the matter is trapping continues, and what started as a ban is the legislature's acknowledgement that trapping is an integral part of population management. There are benefits and it's necessary. So he says more than a dozen anti-trapping speakers are lined up to speak. First on Thursday, Bradley noted he said that they could make their statements, but LCAR is bound by legislative intent to make sure that trapping is allowed to continue. So trapping is not going to go away in that state because trapping is it says integral part towards population management, but trapping is it's an existential, removing trapping is an existential threat to people that are trappers. Trapping is something we do. It's not just something we do for money. It's something that we do because we love it. It's also something we do because we care about the land. We care about the animals. Whenever you take something that's part of a person's identity, that's something that's existential. That you're removing a part of their identity that's existential to their identity, and you can't do that, man. But if you lay down long enough and you don't get active enough in your organizations, and your organizations aren't standing up for your rights, and your local DNRs or your local wildlife conservation organizations aren't trying to support trappers and all outdoorsmen as a whole, then you're going to have these lefties creep in and mess with you and cause problems. Hunting stuff's in Colorado. That's good. I think my passion might have to do with the alcohol I'm drinking. It might. Hell, it might not. I don't drink all the time, but I drink most nights. And I shouldn't. If you don't drink, don't start. And again, if you don't drink, maybe you should. I don't know. But anyway, what's going on in Vermont is happening everywhere. It's just not happening yet. Places like Iowa have really great trapping laws. In Oklahoma, we're loosening up trapping regulations when it comes to certain things. But there's going to come a time when these leftists are going to come with their federal, lawyers and these big money organizations that are funded by PETA and all these other, the American Prairie Institute and all that crap. And they're going to come in and they're going to fund lawyers inside your states to attack certain sections of your laws. In Oklahoma, where trapping is governed by Title 29 and Title 800. And Title 800 has to do with nuisance wildlife, and Title 29 just has to do with trapping regulations. And both of them concern me because I'm a nuisance trapper and a fur trapper. And, I think I have to learn a lot more. There's a lot more I want to learn about what's going on in trapping regulations, not just in my state, but everywhere, because I'm trying to change one of the trapping regulations in my state. And when I see some of the laws that like people in Idaho or in Iowa got, man, they've got some really great laws. They can use snares, what is it, 20 yards from a house, off and 200 yards from the entrance to a house. That's pretty wild. They can use snares in the public right away. Here, they don't even, like, our laws here state that a trail set is basically illegal. And I make trail sets all the time, but I do it on private property where nobody's there. And I've talked with the lieutenant from my local, the ODWC, which is the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation. And I just kind of explained to him, I originally I thought that this meant on public land you weren't allowed to use traps in a right of way or a trail. And he says that they're designed there to not catch dogs, but that most people don't trap on public land, and that private land that's out in the country is something that it is what it is. So he said it wouldn't be a problem. Let's go. Let me make another one. I'm empty. Joe Black, are you laughing at me? Or are you laughing with me? I'm laughing all the time. Well, unless I'm pissed off. It's better to be pissed off than pissed on. So sometimes I get pissed off. I'm not one of those even keeled, always happy guys. When shit goes bad, you can see it on my face. I'll bet you have drank more than I have. That was my first drink. I just put a little. I'm a Scotch guy, so I like Scotch on the rocks. Let me make a drink. Oh shit. Yeah, Scotch on the rocks is what I do. I I'm drinking the cheapest stuff you can buy right now. I took this. I took this. I took the lead from Iowa Trappers. You know, I took a page out of Iowa Trappers book. I've been watching all of his lives lately, and he had a live the other day where he was talking about how he doesn't. He buys the cheapest rum he can buy in a big old bottle. And I buy Scotch, and I used to buy $30, $40 bottle of Scotch that was single malt that I like a lot. That's called Highland. That's McClellan's Highland, and it doesn't have a bunch of peat in it, so it doesn't have that weird Scotch taste that some of the Scotches do. They have a lot of peat in them, but it's a real smooth, good, drink, and you can take a sip of it and enjoy it and not have a problem. You can drink half the bottle or the whole bottle and wake up the next day and you're fine because it's single malt, it's clean, um, you know, and maybe I just drink too much, but you can just have one drink if you want to and feel real good and go to sleep and sleep real well. But I just switched because I'm going broke. I just had a baby and my truck broke down once and I'm putting in the shop again. And trapping season's getting ready to start and I don't make a lot of money. So I'm an economy trapper at this point and I'm trying to boost this YouTube so I can hopefully make money on this one day too. But I switched to this stuff called 100 Pyres, which is imported from Scotland, but a liter of it is 11 bucks before the tariffs and the taxes, and a 1.75 liter of it is 23 bucks after taxes. And I can't tell you how incredible this stuff is. It really is great. It's excellent. Excellent scotch. And it's blended. It's not even single malt, but it's great. Of course, I'm drinking it with coffee. I'm washing it down with coffee. So I'm gonna be up for a while. It's already 11. We've been going on an hour and a half. We can go on as long as y'all want. I don't care. Ah, yeah, you probably have drank more than me. Yeah, yeah, it might be partly for my drinking. Hell, maybe not. I'm a pretty passionate guy. There's a lot of stuff I care about. A lot, I'm always paying attention to what's going on in the world. I listen to radio shows, alternative news radio shows all day. I spend time reading, about what's actually going on and not listening to a damn thing the media says because everything they tell you is a lie. I don't buy any of that shit. If the media said it to you, it's a lie. And if it's not a lie, some part of it's a lie and they're misleading you. I don't believe nothing they say. I think we would have a good time if we drank. Yeah, I'm sure we would, bud. I'm sure we would. And maybe at one of these big trapping conventions sometime we will. I hear that the Saturday nights or the Friday nights on those trapping conventions are a blast. I've seen pictures, but I always have the family with me, so I always hang out with the family instead of hanging out. Wow, that's cheaper. That's a little cheaper than my scotch. 1.75 Seagrams. When I was a kid, that's all my dad would drink, and he didn't drink. My dad wasn't a drinker. He was. Oh well, I'm not gonna tell you all about my dad, but my dad did other stuff when he was younger, and he didn't drink. But when he had a hard day, he always had a big bottle, like you're talking about, 1.75, liter of Seagrams, and it was behind the couch. And it was always behind the couch until I was about 6 or 7, and he moved to a different house. But I remember him always having it back there. And when I was a baby, I was teething, he would put Seagrams on my teeth. And then as I got older, when my dad would have a hard day, like 2 or 3 times a year, he'd have a real bad day. And you would see him, he would come home with a bottle of liquor. And it was usually like a pint or a half pint. But he'd come home with a bottle of liquor, and 99% of the time he wouldn't even touch it. That went on for years in my childhood. I've seen him do it 30 times or 15 times at least. He's dead now. He died of a heart attack, but he's a good guy. but he wasn't an outdoor guy at all. He liked to sit in front of the TV and bitch the TV, watch sports, And I don't, if you guys watch sports, I'm not knocking you, but the only sports I watch are UFC, and I can't even remember 90%. I've been watching UFC for a decade, and I can't remember 90% of the fighters I watch. I don't know anything about their stats. I don't have the mentality to hang on to that information. I'm just like, yes, this fight's awesome. Oh, fuck, it's over. That guy got knocked out. Great. Jeff says hunting stuff. We all would have a good time if we got together and drank. That's right. We build this channel up. We'll get some, live streams where we're doing 15 viewers and then 20 viewers and get up to 30 viewers. And hopefully by then my channel will be up high enough where I'm actually starting to make money on views. I used to just post stuff on YouTube. I didn't even think about it. I just post it and never even, I might share it with, on my Instagram, or sometimes I'd post it to both. I'd post my videos to YouTube and Instagram because a lot of them are like 2 to 7 minutes. I didn't figure out until middle of this year that you got to build your YouTube. I'm just not that smart. Well, if everybody were to sit and have a drink right now, we are drinking together. All right, I'm gonna get back into this a little bit. You guys got any questions? Just throw them at me. I was gonna show you guys a Grony video that was up on the main page here of Trapper's Report, and I really, really, really like this website. I don't forgot the guy's name, like I said, but he's a great dude. And there's a lot of good stuff on here. I posted stuff on here 2 weeks ago, and they've already completely wiped out the page and moved on. But there's a few things I wanted to talk about in here that I saw. And if you guys, anybody close to Wisconsin, you can see here that the population of wolves have increased 4%. And that's coming from the Department of Natural Resources in the state. So what that means is, they keep bumping up these numbers. Eventually, you're going to get a season on wolves if you don't already have them. And it says the population of gray wolves in Wisconsin was estimated at 1,007 last winter, and year-over-year increase of 4%, according to the Department of Natural Resources. Number of wolf packs are down slightly from 288 to 283. But the number of Wisconsin farms with confirmed wolf conflicts also declined. The agency noted that 18 farms had wolf conflicts with livestock during the reporting period, the lowest number is 15 years. So the amount of interactions with wolves have gone down, but the population has risen. So they're going to end up getting to a point to where, they keep creeping up, they're going to get wolves. I've heard stories of people seeing wolves here. My grandpa, he swore. Sioux Falls, SD at the NTA. Jeff, maybe so. Vodka straight out of the plastic bottle. Cheers, Jesse. Cheers, my friend. I met Jesse a couple weeks ago. Jesse's pretty cool. We had a good time. And his son wanted to come. Apparently, Jesse has family down here in Oklahoma, and they were down visiting family, so they came to see the event. And his son is a trapper and likes to do stuff, noodling and stuff. And they both have a little YouTube channel, and they put some videos up. But it was cool to meet Jesse. It was cool to meet people that had known who I was just from the few videos I put out, and it was cool to talk to people that were that are part of this YouTube community. I really enjoy it. I'm not super social. Like, I can talk to anybody and I can have a good time and cut it up with anybody and we can have a good time. And I can get pissed off and punch just about anybody in the mouth too. But I don't hang out with folks a lot. I this is a little secret I have, but it's not really a secret, but I haven't told anybody on YouTube about it. But I play video games on the phone sometimes. And when I'm not in trapping season or I'm not super busy, I play it regularly. And I got a buddy of mine that I preached the gospel to a long time ago. That's a good brother of mine, really. Good friend of mine. And we don't hang out ever. But we we play this video game together. He's playing it every night. I don't play it every night, but I used to a long time ago. And for the last 6, 7 years, basically, 3 nights a week, we hang out and play video games together for a couple hours. And When I'm busy, I can't. But that's my social interaction is online because or in public when I'm out at work. But I either work and then I come home, I'm with the family. I work in the fur shed. I'm trapping. When I'm trapping all season, all I do is trap and skin, and I don't have time for anything really. And I'm going to be able to put videos out. I'm going to be able to do stuff this season, but I'm going to keep the trapping channel going. But a lot of my stuff's going to be shorts that I make on the trap line to keep the channel up and running the whole time. And really, I won't do too many long form videos at all unless I show you guys some stuff. And I think I'm going to do this Trap Shack is live. This Trap Shack broadcast. You see, I made a thumbnail for it this time. It looks pretty cool. I'm gonna do the Trap Shack broadcast once or twice a week, kind of just update people on stuff like this, like I'm talking about. And then I'm gonna, I might sit down and drink during those times and have a good time because it'll be late at night when I do it. And then I'll probably do some, skinning, Trap Shack skinning sessions, and I'll just do them live. Tim says, got to get the grandkids in school in the morning. I'll see you all in the next one. Tim, I'll see you later, bud. I appreciate you being here. Jeff, I don't know about the Sioux Falls in NTA, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. Um, and I don't, I don't know. I just joined the NTA again, rejoined the NTA again. But anyway, during the season, I think what I'll do lives, I'll probably set it up and turn the camera around where it's showing where I'm skinning. And I'll just, sit there and skin. And then I have a big monitor and I have a TV that I set up. I really changed everything up. And if you guys hadn't seen, you can go to my YouTube whenever we get done here. My most recent short shows kind of just, I have a small spot in this garage because 4 adult men live on this property and 2 adult women and 4 children. And we all live in little different spots here, but we've only got one decent garage and shop. And I basically have half of the main garage to myself. And about 2/3 of it I got set up for trapping and the rest of it storage. And I just recently installed a TV up on the wall. I got internet installed this morning. So now I have full internet. I won't have any dropouts when I'm doing lives. I can do lives anywhere I want in here. And I'm gonna start doing, lives where I'm just showing everybody what I'm doing when I skin. And I'll be able to set up the comment section or the chat up on the big TV, and I'll be able to see the comments as they come in and then respond to them while I'm working. So I'll do that a lot. I'll probably do that a couple times a week just to kind of keep people going. But a lot of y'all are going to be trapping too, so I might only still have 5 or 8 viewers, but that's okay. As we do this all season long, I'll have 30 viewers each one every time after that. Yeah, the video game I play is on my phone. I'm a first person shooter guy, and I haven't owned a game system in hell a decade. I think I sold my last game system in like 20 when I was 29 or 28. I haven't owned a game system in a long time, but I just randomly got stuck. I was working with these guys in a warehouse, and we started playing this game together on the phone, which is called Call of Duty Mobile. And it came out, I don't know, 2016, 2017, about the time I started trapping. And whenever we were working during lunch, we would play this game, on the phone. And these new phones, man, you can do anything on these phones that you don't even need a console or anything anymore. And everything, since you got mobile on your phone or you got data on your phone, you're always online. So you're always playing online games. It's a good time, whenever you want to waste time. But it's not, if you're not into wasting time, don't do it because you're definitely wasting it if you're doing it. But yeah, I was interested in this wolf stuff. I'd like to see I like to see mountain lion season in Oklahoma. We're starting to, I got people in Oklahoma that are always laughing that mountain lions aren't here. ODWC in Oklahoma tries to make it seem like mountain lions aren't here. I I've only seen one mountain lion that wasn't on game cam, and I've probably seen 25 on game cam. Not my game cams, but pictures that have been shared with me just in the last 6 years since I started trapping. I got a call from a buddy of mine, a landowner I used to trap on his land, and he called me. He thought I still lived out in the area where in West Oklahoma, and he called me and he wanted me to come trap mountain lion. And I was like, well, we can't really legally do that because there's no open season on mountain lions. Um, And I explained to him, kind of the laws and what was going on. And he said he talked to OGWC and they didn't even want to come out and investigate it. And that's kind of the way it is. But in the spot he's at, which is, well, I'm not going to say where it's at, but there's a wildlife refuge I used to trap on the outside of it. I trapped all the farm and ranch land right around it. I was doing my first 2 years trapping. I had a hell of a good time. And I didn't catch a ton of animals. I think I caught 30 coyotes the first season and 34 coyotes the second season. And I caught 8 cats my first season and 13 cats my second season. And then I caught a good amount of beaver, a ton of coons, every possum that existed. But I didn't, I was just learning. And I got to know some of the folks around there. And they showed me game cam pictures, and they got mountain lions, and I'm not just a couple mountain lions. They got like a pride of lions over there, and hunting stuff. I'm gonna keep it going. I don't know until I get sick of it. We're almost at 2 hours, so if all of you guys end up cutting out, then I'll probably just cut out too. But there's a couple more things I wanted to go over before I'm done, and then yeah, I'll probably cut it out after that. But I'm not in a hurry to cut it off. Anyway, this guy, the landowner, got a hold of me, and he wanted me to. He said they had a job for me, and I was like, man, I was like, well, what is it? But I don't live where y'all are at anymore. And so we talked on the phone for about 30 minutes, and he told me all about it and told me what was going on. And this is where I've seen some of those game cam pictures of mountain lions, and I found out that one of the guys that used to do animal control for the town that just borders this wildlife refuge on the other side of it, which is a suburb of Oklahoma City. Um, Back in the 90s, OGWC came to him and said that if you hear any reports of mountain lions, just let us know and don't worry about it, because they released the mountain lions there. That's what he told me, and I don't know if that's true. I don't I don't want to speculate and say yes, the ODWC released them, but it's kind of funny how the ODWC doesn't want to admit they're here. And now we're 20 years removed from that. 25 years removed from that, and we've got mountain lions in places that we shouldn't, and people are losing cattle and losing alpacas and losing pretty good, pretty good livestock, pretty big size livestock to animals with mountain lion, sign of mountain lions. And I was down in Holdenville, Hughes County, and I picked up some peat moss at a local feed store. And when I did, I was telling them I'm using it for trapping, so I didn't really care what condition it was in. I just wanted to make sure it didn't have ants in it, because I tried to buy peat moss recently and it had ants in it, and I couldn't do that because I didn't want them in the truck. Oh yeah, hunting stuff. You're gonna need another drink. Bottoms up, bud. Joe Black says that wouldn't be around the Witchcraft Mountains, would it? No, it's not. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Wichita. That's funny how it probably auto-corrected. You're doing it on your phone. No, not down the Wichita Mountains, but they got mountain lions there too. So ODWC only confirms so many sightings of mountain lions. But if you have a game cam pick that's a little bit fuzzy, they'll immediately tell you it wasn't a mountain lion, even though the person taking it has compared the pictures they have on that game cam to bobcats they have on that game cam, and they know for a fact it was a mountain lion. I've seen one mountain lion here, and it was right off our property. We got a small property, and that was 2019. We saw a mountain lion cross through the field out here to the northeast of us. And then 3 weeks ago, just under a month ago, one of the local landowners and his wife were coming down the road, the main road that leads to the road that I live on, and they saw a mountain lion cross the intersection. Just, I guess, from where I'm at, it is a mile the way the crow flies, but it would take me a mile and a half to drive there from where I'm at. And they saw a mountain lion cross that corner, that low corner right there by the creek. I guess that's more of a creek. It's not really a creek. The creek is up north of me, but all the creeks run into it. And they saw a mountain lion over there, and they got on Nextdoor app and got on Facebook and started texting all their friends and neighbors because they saw a mountain lion and they know what it was. And I don't have too many game cam pictures here close, but I've heard of it. But the guy down in Holdenville, or in Hughes County, he wasn't really in Holdenville. He's from Hughes County, is where this was at. But I was in Holdenville whenever I met him. He told me, he goes, yeah, the mountain lions are preying on his buddy's horses, and they've got images of the rear end of his buddy's horses and it's got 4 claws all the way down it because they were trying to attack the rear end of the horses. And I said, "You sure it wasn't bear?" He goes, "No, it wasn't bear." He goes, "They got it on camera, not the attack, but the mountain lion." And what they do is they come around here, they get denned up for a while. Instead of traveling real heavy, they find a place where they get good food, and then whenever somebody spooks them off or does something wrong to them, they take off. Well, I got talked to another landowner. I got permission on about a month ago when I got permission from him, and I spent about an hour talking with him that day. And he told me, he said, "Yeah, they had a mountain lion over here and they killed it." And ODWC told him, they said, "If you kill it, don't move it." And he goes, "So how would you know if I move it?" And ODWC looked at it, or he said that when he talked to him, they looked at him and said, "We'll know you moved it." And he goes, "Yeah, because you got it chipped." That's what he said to him, and that's what he told me. He said to him. So that's what's going on, is that, a lot of these mountain lions that are in here are chipped, and they're chipped because they originally were in possession of our local Oklahoma Wildlife Conservation. Or at least that's the claim that a lot of the people out there are saying, especially people that have firsthand knowledge. I don't have firsthand knowledge. I'm just repeating this shit. I could be wrong. You know, last thing I want to do is piss off ODWC. They do real good to me. That's where you lived at, Joe, back in the day in the Wichita Mountains? Was that down Lawton area? Lawton's a fun place. My dad lived in Lawton for 2 years back when I was a kid. So what was that, been 88? You said you left in 88, probably about 89 to 90 is whenever, 89 to 91 is whenever I was down in Lawton as a little boy. They did the same thing in Missouri. They keep saying that our lions are coming from Oklahoma. I want video evidence of someone from your DNR or your conservation organization there in the state claiming that your mountain lions are coming from Oklahoma. I want to see that. I want to show that to you folks at ODWC and be like, look what these guys said. The drink is made. Yes, sir. Yeah, Lawton's a great place, Joe. Were you in the military, Joe? Is that why you're down there? My dad, when he was young, he used to be the overnight baker at the Dunkin' Donuts in Oklahoma City. And I used to sleep on the bread rack in the back, or the yeast rack in the back. And when I was about 6 years old, 5, 6 years old, I was born in '84. When I was about 5, 6 years old, my dad became the manager of the Dunkin' Donuts down in Lawton, and he ran the place. Oh, construction at Fort Sill. Yeah, well, they need money, that's a good thing, getting government contracts. I worked in a government contract not too long ago. And I don't like the government. I don't want the money. I'm not gonna lie. But when it's good, it's good. When you got a company, whether it's, construction or any kind of contracting company that you can get with them, they dole out the cash. So if you can get those contracts, it's worth it. But yeah, my dad, he was a manager at that Braum, or that, I say Brahms, I worked at Brahms. He was a manager at that Dunkin' Donuts in Lawton for 2 years. And we lived down there in the apartments, or he lived down in the apartments. I went down there every 2 weeks, and we had a bunch of great times down there in the mountains. They've got, special elk hunting down there, and it was a great time. My cigarette's out. Stantine, do you have any full body mount tomcats that you can show us? No, I got a couple of frozen cats in my freezer. I don't have any full body mounted cats. Um, I got 2 cats I bought in the spring that I was going to resell for taxi. That hasn't My market hasn't opened back up yet, so I've still got them frozen. But I don't know, Stan. I haven't had enough to drink to get it in my freezer yet. I don't know about you guys. My freezer is. I've got to clean it out. I've got 10 carcasses that have to be pieced out: meat, glands, skulls, bladders, organs, the parts that I need. And then I've got 2 cats that I've got to put up for taxi that are in there and hold true. No, I don't keep any trophies. I've got some of my first skunk. I have my first coon. Actually, my first coon I sold, my biggest coon that I ever caught my first season. I kept it. I've got a couple of those, and I still haven't tanned them. They're probably no good anymore. Hell, I don't really keep a lot of trophies. Sure don't, Stan. But yeah, the the stuff I wanted to tell you guys, and I'll see. I'm gonna try and show this to you and see if you guys can hear it. You can hear it, but I don't know if it'll play. Let's see if it'll play. I get enough data, it should work.
Green beaver all through the United States this year, okay, wherever we have our routes. So you can remember that we're buying green beaver, and everyone remembers how to fold a beaver in half or in quarters and bring it to our truck frozen. Also, green otters will be buying throughout the United States. So
Okay, so that was a clip from Grony that he just put this video up a couple days ago. What is that, October 19th? So that just came up 6 days ago and got put up on um, the Trappers Report. And Grony he's buying green beaver and green otter. So otter fur is making its way up, and you don't have to put it up. They're buying it. They're buying green otter, and they're probably buying it by the weight. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know what markets opened up for Grony and for the folks that are up north to be able to buy otter by weight, but they're buying beaver by weight. And he was telling you how to store them, to make sure that it's skin and skin contact where the fur's on the outside, either folded in half and flattened out and frozen, or folded into quarters and flattened out and frozen, so you can sell them to him frozen. So the hatter market's strong. If you guys are trapping beaver, have access to beaver, you're going to make money on your beaver if you skin them at least. You can sell them whole, but they're not buying whole beaver from everywhere. A lot of your buyers, local buyers, they're going to buy whole beaver from anywhere, and they're going to just skin it and sell it to Grony frozen. Stan says, do you keep any catches as trophies? No, I don't. He says, I caught my first coyote and it had a white tip tail. Have you ever seen one like that? Yeah. Stan, I've caught three. I caught one last season. I think I've caught two or three. So I know I've caught two. I might have caught three coyotes that had a white tip on the tail. I sure have. I've caught some weird coyotes. I caught a coyote last year that had a bobtail, and it wasn't. I don't know if it got taken off when it was a pup. It didn't look like it had a wound on the end of the tail. It looked like the tail grew to be bobbed. It was only about that long. The fur on it was long, but the tail itself wasn't very long at all, and it was pretty wild. All right, Jeff, I kept you up too late. I appreciate you tuning in the whole damn time. I really do, buddy. I'll see you next time. But yeah, Grony talks about in this video, and I'll go back to it for a second since you guys could hear it pretty good and it wasn't too bad. Right here. Anyway, he talks about in this video about where he's buying stuff, what the market's like, what kind of stuff he's buying from the big white truck. And I mean, if you guys know anything about Grony, he's always buying stuff, mostly beaver, a lot of beaver he buys. But he talks a little bit about what's going on here. So let's see if it'll pick back up. Oh, no, it's cutting out. It's making my stream cut out. So whereas I'd hope to be able to show you guys videos, it looks like the only way I'm gonna be able to show you videos is if I download it ahead of time, and I don't have time to do that, so I won't show too many videos. Joe, here, let me put my face back on screen. Joe, I'm reading your comment. It says that was $50, so that made it a $95 coon. I think you meant to say coon. I don't know what you mean. Help me understand. Stan says, who makes your favorite Bobcat lure? Hmm. My my favorite bobcat lure is this stuff right here. It's called Wayne Derrick's Super Cat Gland, and I just call it Wayne Derrick's Super Cat. This right there's his phone number. Y'all write that down. 575-676-0001. Wayne Derrick is he's one of the best dudes I know. And I met Wayne the first year I was trapping. And he's a great dude, man. Older gentleman, he's getting up in age, he's gone through some health things, but he makes the absolute best cat lure on the planet. So I have two cat lures, my two favorite cat lures, he makes them both. So right here, you saw the Super Cat, and the other one here is called Pecos Valley. See that? Derrick's Pecos Valley Cat Call. This is a caster base lure. Oh wow. I can't I can't I can't show that one to you because it's not been mixed up. Let me see. You're not gonna be able to see it without me spilling it. But ooh, this smells good enough you could eat it. That's some good stuff right there. This stuff slays the cats. I catch cats on this any time of the year. I catch anything on this, but cats all the time. I use this all the time. And this Super Cat right here, this is the best cat gland you can buy on the planet. Wayne Derrick. And really, one of my favorite coyote lures too is his G-Man coyote gland. And I mean, I use this stuff. I use this stuff all year. I'm gonna hold off on his stuff until mid-December this year. But I can catch cats on his cat gland. If I'm doing nuisance control on coyotes and I use his cat gland, I'm gonna pick those coyotes up quick. His cat gland slays dogs, but it's great on cats too. No, I don't use any wool balls. I'm gonna start putting my lure. I'm just gonna drip it next to my holes whenever I do dirt holes. I'm gonna start working this year. I learned, like I was telling the guys earlier today before you jumped in the chat, that I learned a bunch of stuff at the OFBA convention, and I'm gonna start trying to make my animals step in the spot I want them to step in, where the pan's at, and I'm gonna do that by the placement of my lure that's on the set. And I really like um, Wayne Derrick stuff, and it works great for both animals. But when it comes to catching animals and the stuff that I use in the hole, I basically don't bring anything from the outside. Sometimes I use a CD or I use a feather or something that I hang up, tinsel. Like at cage sets, I use tinsel. I don't really use tinsel too much. But both the sets I had last year that had tinsel and CD on it, because I only put a couple sets up with it, neither one of them connected on me. All I had was a couple snap-offs from deer and a couple possums. I didn't catch any cats or coyotes in them. Now the cages I had that had tinsel in them, I caught cats in those. But I don't think I'm gonna use too much visual attraction this year. I'm gonna I'm gonna do predominantly dirt hole type sets or flat sets that have food lure in them for November. I'm gonna stick with food lure for the most part, or curiosity lures, and that or caster based lures even. But with dirt holes, I'm gonna use a lot of bait. I got some new bait. I'm gonna try out a bunch of stuff from Pine Hollow. Mike Yancey from Pine Hollow Trapping Supply. He's got a couple of really good baits that slay the dogs. I've got 7 or 10 gallons of bait stored up of stuff that I've made, and I do buy some commercial bait. Okay, you said go up a couple posts. I see it now. Let's see. It says That was 50, so it made 95. I must have missed it. I don't see it. I've been watching your videos and your trap pan. Yep, coffee filters on my trap pans. And damn, I got some Pecos on me. Um, my my trap pans, I use coffee filters, but I also use um I also use the cupcake liners. So for my 550s, I use cupcake liners because they're smaller and they fit over that little pan and that little area real good. So I use the big cupcake liners you buy at Walmart, and then I use coffee filters. You can see there's dirt in the bag, and anytime I store stuff that I'm going to put in the dirt, I store it in dirt, so it smells like dirt when I use it. Two posts up from there. So two posts up from where? From where you said got a couple. You said that was 50, so that made a 95 COO. I guess you meant coon. You said two posts up from there. I caught my first coyote and it had a white tip tail. You ever seen one like that? I don't know. I don't see it. I mean, I don't see what was relative to the part that was talking about the 50, so you made it 95. I guess I missed. Maybe there's something I said um, where you were responding to it, and I blanked out because I've been drinking. I have no idea. I don't remember. But yeah, where we at? I think I already showed you guys pretty much everything I wanted to show you. I really wanted to go through more of that video, but apparently streaming YouTube video and then watching a YouTube video on the stream is kind of like a no-no. It doesn't work. I wonder what 360 video is. Additional settings. Analytics. What are analytics? We have 36 views for tonight's video, 27 hours of watch time. That's pretty cool. I guess we've been up for 2 hours now, so the watch time's going down. Stream health is very healthy. No super chat. I don't do super chats. I mean, I have the capability to do them, but I don't, I'm not looking for money from you guys. I'm looking for money from YouTube. Stan says I use MB550s as well, but I'm not a fan of dying traps myself. I bought a new brand from PCS Outdoors called a No BS trap. Yep. Yeah, and I forget what kind of coating he puts on there. It's kind of like powder coating, but he wouldn't tell anybody what it was. When everybody was asking Kendall what kind of coating he puts on there, he's like, it was a secret. Yeah. Yeah, no BS makes a great trap. Which one did you get? Did you get the KO Extreme or the Beaver? I'm sorry, the K9 Extremes or the K9 Extreme Juniors? Because I think one of them's a number 2 size, and one of them's a number 3 size. I got a buddy who's moved to MB450s, and he says it gets him a lot of property with the cattlemen because he shows them the trap and they see how small it is, and they're like, oh yeah, there's no way. So you got the full size, so it's basically a number 3 style trap. It's very comparable, I guess, to the number 3 Bridger dogless trap. I've got a dozen number 3 Bridgers, dogless Bridgers, and I've got 2 dozen. Well, I had 3, but I have 2 dozen number 3 Bridgers with the dog on. I'm gonna set those this year too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I think I have 14 dozen coyote traps. I think I lied. It's 14 dozen. So I'm happy about it. I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm setting in 5 days. As of tomorrow will be the 26th. I'm setting on the 31st. So 5 days. It's gonna be a good time. Well, hell, it looks like I'm gonna wrap this up. We did good. I had a good time with you guys. I appreciate everybody coming in. Um, I'm gonna do more lives. I'll probably do a couple more lives before I start setting, just to do it. And we'll build this channel up. And if you guys got friends that are into trapping, share this channel with them and get them on it. I'd like to see a lot more people get in here. I'd like to, get more involved with the trapping community and get more talking people and get to know people and kind of see where they're at and, make relationships with folks, trapping. I've noticed with a lot of the older trappers I've run into, they have no problem sitting and talking with you and spending time with you. They love to sit and answer questions, and it's because they want more people that are interested in trapping to get involved in it. And I think I'm not an old, super experienced trapper, and because I'm not super experienced, I you know, I don't get a whole lot. I'm not like those guys. Like people aren't coming to me asking me a bunch of questions, except for the few guys that see my YouTube channels and get in here on this. But I'm hoping that one day, I'll be the guy, one of the guys in the area that the younger folks around here are trying to ask them what they're going on. Like I said earlier tonight, I'm not a role model, but I hope to be an inspiration. And I'd like to see, the younger trappers around here really grow up and, get into it. I don't want to see trapping die in front of my face. I don't want to be at that time in life where the leftists take over the government and then take over the country and take over our cities and then take over our states and watch everything that's our tradition just get destroyed through Marxism. I don't want to see that. I want to see the people who have tradition to stick up. Joe says he's retired. He's got plenty of time. I don't think I'm ever going to retire, Joe. I think I'm going to work till it kills me. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the dollar will change. Maybe America will come back a little bit, and if that happens, maybe I will get a chance to retire. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get out. Do what you can in your local trapping community. Get to talking to your folks. If you guys like my channel, share it with other folks. I'd like to see it, creep up a little bit. I don't expect I'll ever have a million followers or subscribers, but I'd like to get up to 100,000 one day. I'd like to work this channel long enough and be consistent enough and have enough information, have enough TV shows out that we could have 100,000 followers up one day. So I can do this full time. If we get 50,000 followers, I probably can't do it full time, but if I get up to 100,000, I can do this full time. We'll just do outdoor stuff all the time. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. Sorry I missed whatever that 50 made into 95 was about. I didn't see it, but maybe next time. Anyway, y'all have a good night and praise the Lord and God bless America.